See, right now it is 11:40 a.m. local time in a public park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I don't know if you can see over there is a tennis court. Excuse me. I saw, they're not over there anymore, but I saw a couple of middle aged men playing tennis, like maybe about 15 minutes ago. Maybe they're taking a break. And you see people walking, biking. And this park, Humboldt Park, you see, I've walked all around this park. Okay. It's nice. I did not see any drug needles. I have not seen any broken glass. I didn't see cigarette butts littered anywhere. I did not see, what else? I did not smell any urine. I did see one person laying on a park bench. One. Now, I don't know if he's a drunk or if he was just, taking a break, chilling for a second after running. I don't know. I couldn't tell. But I've been walking all around to see. You see somebody up there walking their dog. You see? And with all this activity going on, there's much more activity going on. It's quiet. See another person riding their bike in front of a stage. And let me take a view here so you can see. I'm sitting at a park bench for a minute, taking a break. But you can see kind of like out in the distance over there, this grassy yard or grassy lawn in front of the stage. So what this tells me is that probably on a warm summer afternoon, a Friday night, Saturday night, you got people out here performing live performances on the stage. And earlier in the footage that I showed you, this isn't a super wealthy neighborhood. It's about average. But what happens is you have people who care about their community. Okay, this is what happens when they get together, they buy homes, they pay their taxes, and their taxes, instead of being used on taking care of people that Daquan and Tyrone done beat up, shot, stabbed, instead of using the money on having to feed the children that Daquan created and didn't care for, instead of having to spend the money on cleaning up multiple crime scenes every week and paying police officers an extraordinary amount of overtime because, not only are they overworked too, but the area that they're policing is so violent that the turnover is so high that they can't keep people on the force to pay them a regular salary. So they have to overwork the people who are willing to stay and pay them in overtime hours. You understand? Instead of having to waste money on those kinds of things, this community can use their tax dollars to build a venue. Right now today, you can't see it because I'm at the back of this venue right here. You see all these park benches here. They have places where you can rent it out as a citizen or a resident, I should say, of Milwaukee. You could probably come here, pay a small fee to rent out this little venue and have an event. I'm sure people done had weddings here. They've had birthday parties here, all kinds of stuff. Baby showers. You can come here. It's nice. And, if you're an up-and-coming artist, you could probably rent out this little space, send your flyers all around town to get people to come out and come and see you perform, And plus, this is what the people in this community can enjoy. I saw 2 schools nearby. I've already shown you like footage of a school for the arts for the children here in Milwaukee, within walking distance in this community. And this community is not a community that's filled with mansions that were built in the 21st century. Most of these houses were average working class houses that were built probably around World War II. Probably some earlier than that, but most around that time by my estimation. I could be wrong, but I'm just estimating. So this is what it looks like. Now, why am I pointing this out? Because I've been trying to think about how to do it, y'all. How I was going to reclaim the divestment movement for the real divestors. The ones who, like I'm doing right now, came to different communities, saw how it was going, and said, I want that for myself, and I accept that I live in a community where it's not going to happen. So I got to switch communities. I got to switch up my lifestyle outside of what I've been taught and trained to believe, and accept the reality around me and do what's best for me. Do I want to be like this lady right here, this young mom, at 11 something in the morning, being able to walk off my baby fat, okay, before my baby is walking? You know, I just gave birth maybe about 5 or 6 months ago. Do I want to restore my health like this? Or do I want to go back to, you know, after the 6 weeks of maternity leave is up, now I got to go back to work. Now I got to go back to the grind. I got to take care of everybody but myself. Put myself last. Which way do I want to be? Okay. Do I want to be like her? Able to live in a community that's nice enough? With schools around for our children to walk to? So that saves me time. Later on, you know, as these kids are growing up, I don't have to be the mom that's doing the school runs. I can be the mother that says, okay, kids, off to school. And they're walking to school on their own when they get to that age. Okay? Or do I want to be the mother that's slaving away, working overtime on jobs? Okay? And bear in mind, it's not black women. Black women are not the only women that are doing it, but we are the face of it. Okay? We're the face of the overworked mother who can't take time to herself. And we're the face of a lot of autoimmune illnesses as a result of it. So what happened with the original divestment movement, and I'll go into it a little bit more in detail a little bit later, but I just wanted to do this short video to talk about it. What happened with the original divestment movement, it was about women, especially black women, doing whatever comes to mind without being worried about what other people have to say about it. If you want to buy a house in a community like this, you know, because at the time, you know, the thing is, and it's a natural thing to do, you want to be around things that are familiar to you. So it's natural for people to want to buy into a community where they find their people. You know, so it's normal for Latin people to want to buy into a community with Latin people. Asian people to want to buy into a community with Asian people, because you share some things in common, right? So naturally, you see Africans of various backgrounds, they tend to, you know, group up and form a community around each other. That's a normal, natural thing to do. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But unfortunately for African Americans, especially African American women, if we do that, our kids can't come to a place like this and run around and play, walk around. Okay? We're going to be the ones putting our children on buses, giving them bus fare, city buses, okay? Not even regular school buses, but praying to the high heavens, if that's what you do, by the way, that nothing happens to them when they have their bus pass or their subway pass, depending on where you're at, going to and from school. Okay? Or you're going to be the one driving them there and back. You know, see? People walking. So, with the original divestment movement, it was more or less about what do you want your life to look like? And whatever that is, no matter how absurd it may appear in the eyes of others, just do it, just go for it. That's what the original divestment movement was about. It wasn't about focusing on dating out of the community, although for those women who wanted the kind of lifestyle where they're in a monogamous marriage and raising their children in an intact 2-parent home, chances were high, especially for Black women, that they were going to have to marry out. So that's how interracial dating segued into divestment. But really, divestment wasn't focused on that. So I'm doing a movement reclaim. I'm doing a movement reclaim on behalf of the divestment movement because there's been a lot of misinformation that's been touted around, and I think it was done on purpose as a way to discredit what Black women in particular were saying about why we collectively had to move the way that we had to move. So I'm doing a movement reclaim. And I also want to point out, for those who did hijack the divestment movement, what did they do with it? Did they, when they hijacked it, did they create situations like this where, you know, people have a cheap venue that they can come to that's nice, where people can have tennis courts, where they can casually come and play tennis? Did they help people to build wealth by buying into a community with houses that were maybe built maybe about, 70, 80, 90 years ago, but they're in good condition? They can be rehabbed, remodeled, and, brought up to date as much as possible. It's not like a brand new house, but it's still decent, What did the hijacking of the divestment movement do? What did they do with it? All they did was drag it down and collect cash apps and super chats off of it. But they didn't do for it what the divestment movement originally started out as, which was an intellectually based movement centered on numbers, centered on facts, centered on truths. It did not have vitriol towards anybody. That was not the focus. Because if you're spending your energy hating on people, then you're, from the true divestors' point of view, you're wasting your time. That's time that you can spend on figuring out how better to improve your life and live to your highest potential. Why waste your time being angry at what other people are doing when you can spend your time figuring out how to be the happiest you can be? So if that, for instance, in the case of a Black woman, meant moving to a part of town or even a part of the country or a part of the world where you're the only Black person there, only Black woman, then so be it. See, this is the missing piece of the puzzle, y'all. As bad as they want to talk about us being overweight and whatnot, look at what all these other people are able to do. And I don't live in Blackistan. I live in a nice community. Right now I'm in Milwaukee. I don't live here. But my community is a little bit newer than this. I'll put it like that I live in. And it's nice too. And also, looking around here, you see people walking here in the daytime. People can walk here at night too. Because one of the things I was looking for were lights. And I saw street lights everywhere. So I know when nighttime hits, it's going to be well lit. So imagine you live in this community, okay? You live in this house over here, or maybe a house behind it. Okay. You just finished eating your dinner, and you just let me go for a quick walk around the park. You can get your exercise in, and they got some hills for you too, so you can get you some resistance training. It's safe enough, it's nice enough, it's clean enough. You don't have to worry about somebody running up on you talking about break yourself food, give me your money, give me, empty your pockets. You don't have to worry about that. So I said all that to say that I am reclaiming the divestment movement. Y'all didn't do anything with it but drag it down. So now that they're finished dragging it down, and it's no longer a fun toy for them to, break anymore, I'm bringing it back, and I want to bring back the truth of what went on with it, so that we can clean it up, but more importantly, show to you who drug it down and expose them. See, I play the long game. People can come and do short-term stuff, but I'll double back around like I did with the natural hair movement. Because, see, a lot of y'all didn't know about that. Some of the things that I covered in the natural hair movement, the chief one being who started it and what was the original intention of it. The original intention of the natural hair movement wasn't to say, aha, my hair makes me better than you. That's childish and immature. I don't care who does it, whether it's a non-black person doing it to a black person, or whether it's a black person doing it to a non-black person, or a black person with one type of hair texture doing it to another black person of another type of hair texture. It doesn't matter who's doing it. It's childish and immature. But that's what it came down to, and that's what a lot of y'all think about the natural hair movement. The natural hair movement wasn't started so that, black women like myself who have 4C hair can look down on others. It was started as a result of the fact that we were collectively using relaxers on our heads, and we did not know that it had cancer-causing chemicals in it. Most black women did not know at the time, when they were putting that stuff on their heads, that cancer-causing chemicals were in it. And not only were we putting it on our heads, we were putting it on our daughters' heads too. So it was at that point where we said, no, I don't care. If you don't like what you see, then turn your head and look the other way. We're not going to sit up here and make somebody rich while we die as a result of it. That was the basis of the natural hair movement. And a lot of y'all didn't know that. And that's why I felt the need to make the series about the natural hair movement, so you can at least know the truth. Well, I'm doing the same thing here with the divestment movement. Okay. I, by no stretch of the means, am saying I was a major participant. I was maybe about lower, if you want to say mid-level, I was kind of on the lower side. Okay. I wasn't the one putting my face out there. I wasn't the one going around the country, making speeches. But I kind of did my thing behind the scenes. So kind of low level, reaching up to be mid-level to some extent. But I think I can, because I've been around for a while, I can fairly say what the divestment movement was turned into was crap. Okay. But that was not the original intention of the people who started it. The original intention was to say, we just want to live better. We want to be safer. We want to be happier and healthier. And we just want to do it without any encumbrance. We're no longer going to do what is natural for many people to do and congregate around our own people, particularly black women. Okay. We're not going to do that. As unfortunate as it may sound, it's not working for us. So what we'll do is go somewhere where we see that we can properly nest in, where we can properly feel confident in, safe in, and we'll go there. wherever that is. It could be here in Milwaukee. It can be in Milan or Paris. It can be in, Thousand Oaks, California. It can be in, somewhere in New York, wherever I feel safe at, that's where I'm going to go. That's what it was about. And I'm going to live my best life. So if that means that I have to open up a business to realize the kind of income that I want, to support the kind of lifestyle that I want to have, then that's what I'm going to do. That's what divestment was about. It was just about being your best self no matter what. It wasn't about, nana nana boo boo, you black men, since you're dating out, we're going to date out too. That's childish. So that's all I have to say for now. I may come back and record a little bit more while I'm walking around. I've already done close to 2 miles. I'm going to do about a couple more miles, and then I'm going to end it, go to the gym, lift some weights, and then by that time, I should be ready to move on down. By the time I'm done with that, I should be ready to get out of Milwaukee. I just got a little business to take care of here, and then I'm leaving. So that's all I have to say for now. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, click on the notifications bell so you'll know whenever I upload any new topics or any new videos. Take care until next time.